Hey guys, I'm back with another awesome video. Today we are talking about things I wish I knew before coming to Japan. For those of you that don't know, I am currently here in Japan. I've been living here for the past 7 months and I'll be here until July. And there's a ton of things that I wish I knew before coming here. So for those of you that are thinking about coming to Japan, or you're already coming, or you just want to learn more about Japan, this video I'm making for you. Suica is a card that you can use anywhere, kind of like a credit card. You just put money on your Suica card and then you can use it anywhere. I thought that it was an app that you download on the App Store and that's the only way you can use it. But if you have an Apple phone, and I'm pretty sure this works on Google as well, you can get Suica downloaded to your wallet and just straight from your Apple wallet, you can use Suica. You don't have to go through the app, which is only in Japanese and almost impossible to use. So before coming here, I did not know that at all. I thought you could only use the Japanese app. So I spent like 2 hours taking screenshots and Google translating every single word on the app, only to realize I couldn't use the app anyways because I didn't have a Japanese phone number, and it was just very, very complicated. And I wish I knew that Suica was already available for anyone that had an Apple phone to just already go in your wallet and you could start using it. And then to add to this, the second thing I wish I knew is that Suica Apple Pay is very buggy when it comes to using Visas. So all of my Visa credit cards and debit cards, I can't use to put money on my Suica card. Only MasterCard works on my Suica card for some reason. So by the time that I realized I could get Suica on my Apple Pay, I tried to put money onto it and I couldn't because all my credit cards are Visa. And it wasn't until I got the Apple credit card, which is MasterCard and it's just a digital card, that I was able to start putting money into Suica. And so about 7 months ago, I got an Apple card and now I use it solely for the purpose of adding money into my Suica, which then I can use at train stations, at restaurants, basically anywhere that accepts credit card. And it's a very, very helpful thing, especially for the train stations. Okay, so the second thing that I wish I knew is that basically any good restaurant you go to is probably not going to accept cash, because these restaurants are small businesses run by like 2 or 3 people and they run on very thin profit margins. So having all the additional credit card fees is too much for these small business owners. And I wish I knew how cash-based of a society Japan really was. I had kind of heard about it, but I didn't know to what extent. But truthfully, you should always be bringing some cash with you wherever you go. Because if the business is not like a big national business, they're probably only going to accept cash. Sticking on the topic of businesses, the next thing I wish I knew, and I just want to qualify this with saying it's not like a big deal or anything, it's first world problems. I'm being petty here, but I wish I knew that Japanese companies don't accept refunds. It's just like not a thing to refund your money for a product you buy. This was crazy to me when I came here because, you know, I'm from America and you can basically refund your money for any reason. Like if you buy something and then you realize you don't want it, you can get all your money back and just return it and the company will take care of it. But that's just like not a thing in Japan. They do accept refunds, but only if the product is defective, which the products rarely are defective. So if you buy something, you just can't return it. That's just not a thing you can do. And this has gotten me a few times here in Japan. There was one time that I was getting my Japanese phone number, and as part of the plan that I signed up for, they gave me a free phone, but no charger. And I was like, what am I gonna do with a free phone if I can't charge it? So my sales guy, who's communicating with me, fully in Japanese by the way, gives me this charger. And it's like this expensive, like $25 charger. I'm like, okay, this is like a Japanese charger that I need with this Japanese phone. I'll buy this expensive charger. When I finally buy it, I look and I see it's just a USB-C charger, which I have tons at home. And if I knew it was just a regular USB-C charger, I never would have bought it. And so literally like 5 minutes after I bought the charger, I asked them if I could return it because I realized I didn't need it. And you know, the box was unopened, the plastic wrapping was still in the box, and they did not let me return it, which is like, that hurt a little bit. And you know, when I think about it, I feel like it makes more sense that you should only refund products when they don't work. Like, it's not a company's fault if you buy something that you realize you don't need. It's your fault for just buying something and just not thinking more carefully about what you are buying. But man, is it convenient to just always be able to return whatever you want. And definitely in Japan, I've had to be much more careful whenever I'm buying something, because I know that if like the shirt doesn't fit me, or if I realize I don't need it later, I can't return it. Next, I wish I knew how inexpensive it is to live here in Tokyo. Before coming here, I was kind of unsure whether it'd be really expensive or really inexpensive. I had heard arguments from both sides after searching on YouTube. And at least for my case, my living expenses are about $1,200 a month. My rent is like $450 a month. I did have a high initial fee to get my apartment, as you do with every apartment. It was like $900 for the first month, so like 2 rents. But from there, my rent is $450 a month. Huge room, I have my own kitchen, I have my own bathroom, and a similar apartment in like New York would cost $1,000 or $2,000 a month. So my rent is just insanely cheap. I'm located about 30 minutes away from Shinjuku, so not like central Tokyo. So I can't speak to the rents there. I'm sure those are crazy expensive, but still, I'm a pretty easy commute to central Tokyo. So when you like factor all of that, I feel like I've really made a steal. I don't know specifically how much money I spend on food a month, but what I do know is all the meals that I get here at restaurants are very inexpensive. My favorite restaurant's called Suhiro. I get the extra shrimp fried rice, and I get this huge bowl of shrimp fried rice for 900 yen, which is less than $7. And this is literally like the most food I've ever seen in one bowl. And let me tell you guys, I eat a lot, and I can't even finish this food in one sitting. And this is like healthy food too. Quality rice, quality shrimp, vegetables, everything. It's a whole meal. And again, it depends on where you go. If you shop at all the tourist spots and you're like central Tokyo, then it definitely will be much more expensive. But if you live as the locals live, it is really not that expensive. Okay, this next one's kind of a fun one. I wish I knew that if you don't live in central Tokyo, like Shibuya, Shinjuku, and you want to party, it is a lot. It's crazy, at least for me. It's too much for me. A little background, my ideal night is just me in my room working on YouTube videos. So I'm not the biggest partier. And the first month that I came to Tokyo, I was like, I'm in Tokyo, I'm in one of the biggest cities ever. I should go to the club and just see how it is. And the thing about doing that from where I live is that if you go and you're out in the city past 12, you have to spend the full night there partying because the trains close by 12 and they don't start again until 5 a.m. So anytime I chose to like go to the club, which was not often, I would have to be pulling an all-nighter just partying, which was way too much for me. I could not keep up with all of that. And you'd think maybe you'd make it more fun because everyone is stuck like we are. So we're just all just ready to go crazy or whatever. But personally, I found that like everyone kind of tires out by like 3 or 4 a.m. and then you just want to go home. The next thing I wish I knew was that I should subscribe to Ethan's YouTube channel. Now I'm speaking in the third person, which is weird, but just subscribe to this. If you like this video, subscribe, please. Okay, so next thing I wish I knew is how much of a friend Google Maps and Google Translate would be to me here in Japan. So first of all, the train systems here are so confusing. It's almost impossible for a small-brained guy like me to decipher the huge, intricate map that are on the walls in the Japan train stations. But if you just use Google Maps, it makes the whole process so much easier. You just find the train that you're supposed to get on, the color, and you find the platform, and you just go to that platform, and that's it. It'll get you through the bus systems as well, which are really complicated. So Google Maps gets you through all of that. On the other side, you have Google Translate, which not only you can type things and translate, but you can take pictures of Japanese words and translate that into English. And that has also been a huge life changer for me because when I'm like shopping groceries, when I'm looking at signs and I don't know what it means because I don't know kanji that well, I just take a picture, translate it in English, and then I can understand what I'm looking at. Also, when I'm meeting people and they only speak Japanese, I can communicate with them because we're just using Google Translate. So I really wish I knew the power of both of those apps, which is why I'm telling you guys about it. I wish I knew how normal it is for little tiny kids to just be walking this city alone by themselves. I'd like heard about this before coming to Japan, but actually seeing all these like 5-year-old kids with these huge hats that they can barely see out of, walking completely alone onto trains, onto buses, just on the street with cars, is just crazy to me to see in real life. Like whenever I see one of these kids, I'm like looking for their parents to make sure these kids get to where they want to be safely. But there's just no one, it's just the kid by themselves navigating the city. At least in Tokyo, it is very safe here, apparently, to the point where parents just trust their kids to go at like 6 a.m. to school. That would never ever happen in America. Most parents are too afraid to leave their kid alone in their own neighborhood, let alone let them walk all the way to school by themselves in the city. Next thing I wish I knew was how OP Japan is in pricing items, because the tax is already included. So if you see something for 900 yen, it is 900 yen. There's no extra tax, there's no extra tip, there's nothing, it's just 900 yen. And it makes shopping so much more convenient because there's no surprises when I'm shopping, and that has made all the difference in my shopping happiness experience. Next, and I have no idea how I didn't know this, but in a lot of restaurants, the way that you order food is through vending machines. A lot of restaurants literally just have a vending machine, and you can pick what food you want. They have pictures of the food. You just put your money in, you pick it, and you get this ticket of the food, and then you give it to the waiter. And looking back, I don't know how this happened, but like my first week coming here, I somehow always missed the vending machines, and I just beeline straight to the table, waiting for someone to come to me to ask my order, and no one would ever come, and I'd be so confused, and I'd have no idea how to order my food. So I don't think that problem's gonna happen for most of you guys. I just am dumb sometimes, but I definitely wish I knew the process of ordering your food from a vending machine. And these last few things that I wish I knew are like kind of like adulting related, because you know, this is my first time living alone, paying bills, living in an apartment. And there's a lot of like adult things that I'm learning through this process. First of all, I'm learning how expensive heating can be. Oh my gosh, this winter I had the heater on all the time because it was so cold. And when I got my bill back for the month, it was over $100, which is insane. That is so much money for just heating. And I will admit, I was pretty done with my heating behavior. I'd have it on during the nighttime when I'm sleeping in a blanket. I'd have it running while I'm at school and I don't need it because I wanted to come home to a nice and hot apartment. But when I got that bill back and realized that heating is super expensive, I was like, screw this. And then I got my jackets, I layered up, I put my gloves on, and I was just vibing in my apartment. We're broke college students here, so we can't afford any of that crazy stuff. I also wish I knew about bills in general. I didn't pay my water bill for like the first month and a half just because I had no idea how. Apparently in Japan, you're supposed to apply to pay for the water bill before you can start paying. But I just never applied to pay for it, so I never got my bill sent. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, free water. Nope, it's not how it works at all. And if you don't pay it for a month and a half, they just shut your water off completely. So I should have been much more proactive about figuring that whole bill system out. And instead, I just had my water out for a week, which was a whole thing. Luckily, the toilet still worked, but in terms of like showers, in terms of washing the dishes, in terms of washing my hands, none of that worked. So for a week, I had to buy these water bottles to do all that. It was sad. Lastly, and I actually learned about this literally today when my landlord came to visit me, but apparently you're supposed to be ventilating your room. You know, like letting the air in, turning the ventilations on, because if you don't, and you take a shower, or you're boiling water, cooking food, your room is going to condensate, and there's nowhere for all that water to go. And this is something that I'd always been noticing these past few months that I've been living here, but I didn't know why it was happening, because I noticed that my bathroom was always wet, my towel would always be soaked, and then in the kitchen, the walls would kind of turn black a little bit, and I just didn't know why it was happening. And it's because I wasn't ventilating my room, and all this condensation had nowhere to go, and it just stayed in my room. So my landlord was a little shocked to see, like when she walked into my apartment, the walls were turning black a little bit because of all the condensation on the walls. And then she lectured me about the importance of ventilating my apartment and opening the windows and opening the doors so you could let the air in, which was very embarrassing for me, but a much needed talk that I got. But anyways, if you guys like this video, please like and comment, subscribe. Do everything for the YouTube algorithm to help me out. I'd really appreciate it if you did. It would make my day. But yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.